to bring charges against me for now ancient no affair story of Stormy Horseface Daniels. No attraction. No affair. I call it no affair. Where there's no crime anyway.
Look, that's how he talks. That's how he speaks about women. There he's talking about Stormy Daniels, the witness against him in the Manhattan District Attorney criminal case where he's accused of mischaracterizing hush money payments made to Stormy Daniels while his wife had just given birth, while Melania had just given birth to Barron. And look, what this is highlighting more and more and more is that Donald Trump has a major problem with suburban women. And we saw that in the data that just came out with the South Carolina primaries. I mean, Nikki Haley got about 40% of the vote, and many of the Haley voters say they will never vote for Donald Trump. So Donald Trump is out there now just giving these speeches, or whatever you even want to call them, where he's saying, suburban women, you're going to love me. You're going to love me. Like, take a look at this speech he gave over the weekend. Here's one example. Play this clip.
They talk about suburban women. They're going to love me so much. They're going to say, oh, I wish we had that guy back.
And he gave that speech at CPAC. Let me give you this other example. Here's a speech that he gave at this Black Federation conference, which was just a horrific speech that he gave, where he says that black people like him because he got indicted, he says, and as his team was also saying last week, that black people like him because he was selling shoes and sneakers, and black people like sneakers. I mean, just horrifically racist stuff. But in that speech as well, here's what he said about women and suburban women loving him. Here, play this clip.
Then they say women don't like him. I think women like me. I've never had a problem. Never had a big problem.
You know, and if this sounds familiar to you, this is what he was doing back in 2020 as well.
Suburban women, please vote for me. I'm saving your house. I'm saving your community.
I ask you to do me a favor. Suburban women, will you please like me? Remember? Please. Please. I saved your damn neighborhood, okay? Say, suburban women, please love me, please love me.
You know, and over again, we see, thankfully, suburban women and women in general are saving our country right now. So thank you, thank you, thank you. But let's just take a look at some of the statements that Donald Trump has made as well. So here's what Donald Trump says that he has in common with his daughter, Ivanka. It's disgusting.
We want to know a little bit more about you guys, so we play this game here. It's called Fave 5. I'll ask the question. Ivanka, you answer first, and then Dad, you answer also.
This is tough.
Okay, Ivanka, what's the favorite thing you have in common with your father?
Either real estate or golf.
Donald, with your daughter?
Well, I was going to say sex, but I can't relate that.
This is when Donald Trump gave an interview with Howard Stern, and Donald Trump was bragging how he would look at teenage girls, little girls naked, because of his access to them, and he would inspect them when he ran the Miss Teen USA. Here, play this clip.
Well, you could also say, as the owner of the pageant, it's your obligation to do that.
So you have done that. Now,
I'll tell you the funniest is that I'll go backstage before a show.
Yes.
And everyone's getting dressed and ready and everything else. And, you know, no men are anywhere. And I'm allowed to go in because I'm the owner of the pageant, and therefore I'm inspecting it. You know, I'm inspecting. I want to make sure that
like
everything is
doctor.
good.
You're there.
Yeah, the dress. Is everyone okay? You know, they're standing there with no clothes. Is everybody okay? And you see these incredible-looking women. And so I sort of get away with things like that.
Also, this is what Donald Trump had to say about Lindsay Lohan when she was only 18 years old.
What do you think of Lindsay Lohan now?
I think she's hot.
There's something there, right?
Yes.
But you have to like freckles. I've seen a close-up of her chest.
Yes.
And a lot of freckles. Are you into freckles?
If the father's a wreck like the way he is,
right.
You imagine the sex with this troubled...
Yeah, you're probably right. She's probably deeply troubled and therefore great in bed.
Back in the day...
How come the deeply troubled women...
Yes.
You know, deeply troubled.
Right.
They're always the best in bed. If for some reason what I said is true, I mean, they're just unbelievable.
I can tell from the...
You don't want to be with them for the long term, but for the short term, there's nothing.
And of course, now Donald Trump goes around bragging about how he was the reason that Roe v. Wade got overturned, that he appointed right-wing extremist Gilead-style justices who overturned Roe v. Wade. And That's what also led to the decision in Alabama as well. It's a domino effect that we all said was going to happen. That basically said that, not basically, it did say that frozen embryos are the same as children, and therefore shutting down all these IVF clinics that are really worried about wrongful death liability now.
I didn't think when I started my radio career in 1987 I'd be talking a lot about, but education, kids, gender identity classes, CRT. I never thought we'd really have this deep debate about whether or not biological men could be playing in women's sports. When
so crazy.
On all of these issues, what is the best way that you see to settle?
Well, I did something that nobody thought was possible. I got rid of Roe v. Wade. And by doing that, it put pro-lifers in a very strong negotiating position.
And then, of course, you have Donald Trump at his deposition in the E. Jean Carroll sexual assault and defamation case, where Trump was found liable for raping E. Jean Carroll, and Donald Trump was also found liable for defaming his victim. There was a $5 million verdict in the first trial, an $83.3 million verdict in the second trial. And here in the deposition, Donald Trump is provided the audio where he brags about sexually assaulting women, and Donald Trump's asked about it. Here, watch his response. Play the clip.
And you say, and again, this has become very famous in this video, I just start kissing them. It's like a magnet. Just kiss. I don't even wait. And when you're a star, they let you do it. You can do anything. Grab them by the pussy. You can do anything. That's what you said, correct?
Well, historically, that's true with stars.
True with stars that they can grab women by the pussy?
Well, that's what it's. If you look over the last million years, I guess that's been largely true. Not always, but largely true. Unfortunately or fortunately.
And you consider yourself to be a star?
I think you can say that, yeah.
And of course, you know how Donald Trump buried Ivana, his first wife, in the kind of back lot of a golf course and let all the grass grow over it. Real ghoulish and horrific stuff right there as well. Here's what Nikki Haley has to say about Donald Trump and not being able to or losing all of the support of suburban women.
He can't win independents. He can't win suburban women's, and there's a lot of other Republicans he's not getting. Think about the fact he did not get 43% of the vote in New Hampshire. In the poll yesterday from Quinnipiac, he's down 7% to Biden.
Here's a clip of Mitt Romney saying, like, I can't support somebody who's found liable for sexual assault. Play the clip.
I will not be voting for former President Trump. I must admit that I find sexual assault to be a line I will not cross, and the people I select to be my president. But I also disagree with a number of the character issues that the president has demonstrated.
Here's Donald Trump attacking Nikki Haley, and this was after New Hampshire, and mocking her dress. Play the clip.
I felt I should do this because I find in life you can't let people get away with bullshit, okay? You can't. You just can't do that. And when I watched her in the fancy dress that probably wasn't so fancy come up, I said, what's she doing? We won. And she did the same thing last week, but he was much more angry about it than I was. I said, get up there and you let him know.
You know, and then Donald Trump goes around the country, and at these traveling fascist circus events, he gives speeches like this.
You can do it, baby. I love you so much. And it's bad news. Bad things are happening. Mom, I'm sorry. Mom, I didn't do it.
Just so you can see, this is what he does across the country. I'll show you one more clip. Play it.
And they're proud, they're clapping, they're going crazy. I can't do it, Mom, I can't. Boom.
Let's take a look at what Governor Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan had to say. And, you know, by the way, I mean, the media's questions are just so horrifically worded, but Governor Whitmer's a superstar, and watch what she says. Play this clip.
Does that undercut the arguments by Democrats that Republicans are going after in vitro fertilization?
Hell no, it does not. I mean, we've always known that with the appointments that Donald Trump made to the United States Supreme Court, that IVF, that a woman's ability to make her own decisions about her body, and all the panoply of things that come from that were in jeopardy. And so this Alabama Supreme Court ruling is a natural extension of that. And that's exactly why even in a state like Michigan, where we've made huge strides in protecting the right to reproductive freedom, is still very much at risk with a prospect of a second Trump term.
You know, and then meanwhile, you've got the kind of MAGA media that's been built up around Donald Trump. And here's an article written by someone named William Upton, a male, of course. And here's what he says. This is like one of the right-wing websites that Donald Trump posts about a lot. Study, women more likely to vote for Trump during most fertile point of menstrual cycle. And then there's Donald Trump in a tux dancing right there with women in bathing suits right there. I mean, here's the guy who wrote the article. Oh, by the way, Don Jr. woke up and here's what he posted. And this is what, leader in the Republican Party. Here's what Don Jr. woke up on Sunday and wrote. There's literally no amount of Viagra on earth that's going to give Joe Biden, who can barely walk without falling over, would just stop. As our editor-in-chief Ron Filipkowski wrote, Jr. woke up obsessing over Joe Biden's erections. I mean, again, just such depraved people right here. And this is from Joy Hunter 64 of Somerville. Here's what she had to say after the primaries. She declined to share how she voted in the last election, though she said she had never voted Democrat, but she's ruled out supporting Donald Trump this year, citing in part the Capitol riot. I know people say just ignore his character and instead focus on what he's done, but I don't know that you can separate entirely a person's character from their policies, Ms. Hunter said. She added of Ms. Haley, I'm going to beg her not to drop out. Well, Nikki Haley said she's not going to be dropping out. Donald Trump's policies and personal behavior are both horrific. And, when I show you these clips, I ask, share them with people. I could have made this video 8 hours. I'm obviously not doing that. But, because I could show you tens of thousands of clips. And I pick those ones just because they demonstrate, they're emblematic of how just utterly depraved this is by Donald Trump. This isn't a Democrat or Republican thing. It's the MAGA's taken over Republican, and it is this Trump depravity, the depths of depravity here. It's sick. It's disgusting. Let me know what you think. Put it in the comments below. And let me know your story. Share your story below. I'd love to also hear from you. I want to hear from you no matter what in the comments. But also, if you are an independent voter or a Republican voter or former Republican voter that will never vote ever for Donald Trump because of his behavior and conduct and what the MAGA Republicans have done to the Republican Party, share your story in the comments as well. Thank you so much for watching this and have a great day.
Love this video? Make sure you stay up to date on the latest breaking news and all things Meidas by signing up to the MeidasTouch newsletter at MeidasTouch.com/newsletter.